Steve Wozniak, the engineering genius of Apple. What if I told you that one man changed the world of computers forever, but he wasn't the famous Steve Jobs? Yes, you heard that right. Behind Apple's success, there was another genius, Steve Wozniak. He was the quiet mastermind, the brilliant engineer who built the first Apple computer with his own hands. In this story, we'll dive into the life of Steve Wozniak, the man who made computers simple and accessible for everyone. From a young boy obsessed with technology to the co-founder of one of the biggest tech companies in the world, his journey is nothing short of inspiring. But wait, this isn't just any story. This is also your chance to improve your English. As you listen, you'll learn new words, useful phrases, and real-life expressions. It's like learning English naturally while enjoying an exciting success story. So, are you ready to discover the untold story of Apple's engineering genius and boost your English skills at the same time? Stay until the end. You won't want to miss this. Chapter 1: A Curious Mind, Wozniak's Early Years. Steve Wozniak was a curious boy. He loved to build things. When he was a child, he played with wires and small machines. He wanted to know how they worked. His father was an engineer. He taught Steve about electronics. Steve was very excited to learn. At school, Steve was different. He did not like to follow the rules. He liked to solve problems in his own way. Sometimes he got in trouble for it, but he was very smart. He could build things that other kids could not. One day, Steve built a small computer. He used parts from old machines. He made it work all by himself. His teachers were very surprised. They knew he was special. Steve also loved playing pranks. He made a joke calculator. When someone used it, the wrong numbers appeared. People laughed, but they also saw how clever he was. As Steve grew older, his love for computers became stronger. In high school, he spent many hours reading about technology. He did not just study, he also built new things. He was not afraid to try new ideas. When he went to college, Steve was bored. He wanted to create, not just study. So he left college. He wanted to build real computers. He believed he could change the world. One day, Steve met another young man named Steve Jobs. They both loved technology. They became friends. They talked about ideas for new computers. This was the beginning of something big, but Steve Wozniak did not know it yet. He was just a curious man who loved to build. Soon, his ideas would help create one of the biggest companies in the world, Apple. Chapter 2: The Meeting That Changed Everything. One day, Steve Wozniak met a young man named Steve Jobs. They were very different, but they both loved technology. Wozniak was quiet and loved building things. Jobs was talkative and full of big ideas. They met through a friend. When they talked, they got excited. Wozniak showed Jobs his computer projects. Jobs was amazed. He saw something special in Wozniak's work. One evening, Wozniak showed Jobs a small computer he built. It was different from other computers. It was small and simple. In the 1970s, computers were big and expensive. Only big companies had them. But Wozniak's computer was different. It could be for everyone. Jobs had an idea. "We should sell this," he said. Wozniak was surprised. He just loved building things. He did not think about selling them. But Jobs was good at business. He saw an opportunity. He told Wozniak, "We can start a company." At first, Wozniak was unsure. He had a job at a company called HP. He liked working there. But Jobs did not give up. He believed in Wozniak's talent. One day, Jobs told Wozniak, "If we don't do this, someone else will." Wozniak thought about it. He loved building computers. If he worked with Jobs, he could build more. He decided to take a chance. The two young men did not have money. They needed parts to build computers. Jobs sold his van. Wozniak sold his calculator. With this money, they started working. They did not have an office. They worked in Jobs' parents' garage. It was small, but they had big dreams. They worked day and night. Wozniak built. Jobs planned how to sell the computers. They had no idea that their small company would change the world. Chapter 3. Building the First Apple Computer. In the small garage, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs worked hard. Wozniak built the computer, and Jobs found ways to sell it. They wanted to create a simple computer that anyone could use. Wozniak designed the first computer by hand. It was called the Apple I. He worked day and night, making sure everything was perfect. Unlike big computers, the Apple I was small and easy to use. It had a keyboard and could connect to a screen. This was new at the time. Jobs knew they needed money to build more computers. He went to local stores and asked them to buy the Apple I. Most people said no. They thought computers were only for big companies. But one store owner, Paul Terrell, saw something special. He ordered 50 Apple I computers for his store. Now, Wozniak and Jobs had a real business. They built the computers by hand, one by one. It was hard work, but they did not give up. Jobs focused on selling, and Wozniak focused on building. Soon, more people became interested in their computers. They loved how easy they were to use. This was just the beginning. But Wozniak was not thinking about money. He only wanted to create better computers. Jobs, on the other hand, wanted to grow the company. He had big dreams. After the success of the Apple I, Wozniak started working on a new computer, the Apple II. This computer would change everything. It was faster, more colorful, and even easier to use. Apple was now a real company. Wozniak's talent and Jobs' business skills made a perfect team. But would they be able to make Apple a big success? Chapter 4. Apple's Rise and Wozniak's Vision. The Apple II was a big success. It was one of the first personal computers that people could buy for their homes. Unlike other computers, it had color graphics and was easy to use. Many people loved it. Schools and businesses also started using the Apple II. Apple was growing fast. Steve Jobs focused on selling the computers, and Steve Wozniak kept improving the technology. They moved out of the small garage and into a real office. More people joined the company. Apple was no longer a small project. It was becoming a big business. In 1980, Apple became a public company. This means that people could buy shares and invest in Apple. Suddenly, Wozniak and Jobs became very rich. But money was never important to Wozniak. He still loved building computers more than anything else. Even though Apple was successful, Wozniak started feeling different from the company. He did not like the business side of things. He just wanted to create. Jobs, on the other hand, wanted to grow Apple into a giant company. Their ideas were no longer the same. In 1981, Wozniak had an accident. He was flying a small airplane when it crashed. He was hurt and had trouble remembering things for a while. After this, he started to think about life differently. A few years later, Wozniak decided to leave Apple. He had made his dream come true. He built a computer that changed the world. Now he wanted to do something else. But even after leaving Apple, Wozniak never stopped inventing. He started new projects, helped schools with technology, and continued to share his love for computers. Apple continued to grow, but Wozniak's genius had already made history. Without him, personal computers might not be what they are today. Chapter 5: Life Beyond Apple, The Legacy of a Tech Genius. After leaving Apple, Steve Wozniak did not stop creating. He still loved computers and technology, but he wanted to use them to help people. Instead of working in a big company, he chose to follow his passions in a different way. Wozniak spent time teaching children about computers. He believed that technology could help students learn better. He gave money to schools and started programs to teach kids how to code. He wanted every child to have access to computers, just like he did when he was young. Even though he left Apple, he remained close to the company. He was happy to see Apple grow and bring new innovations to the world. But Wozniak never liked being a businessman. He always said he was an engineer at heart. In the 2000s, Wozniak started working on new projects. He joined different tech companies, spoke at events, and shared his ideas with young entrepreneurs. People respected him for his kindness and creativity. Unlike many rich people, Wozniak did not care much about money or fame. He just loved to build things. He also enjoyed life outside of technology. He danced on TV shows, played pranks, and even wrote a book about his journey. He showed the world that success is not just about money. It's about doing what you love. Today, Steve Wozniak is remembered as the man who built the first Apple computer. Without him, personal computers might not be so simple and easy to use. He proved that one person with a passion for technology can change the world.